Hi team, Mr. Return here, Year 12 Bridging course. We just going to have a quick look at section 5 now, which is solving simultaneous equations. Okay, so again, you would have done this at GCSE level. It comes up all the time at A level, and now you've been given scientific calculators which can do these simultaneous equations for you. So it's still good practice to do them yourself, and then you can check your results on the calculator. Now, we're starting off with very simple ones, going on to tougher ones later. So here, when solving simultaneous equations, obviously we need to get rid of one of the variables to solve for the second variable, and then sub it back in to get the original variable. In this case, we're looking at x's are the same. Okay, so even y's are the same, but so it's 6 and 2 3 is how you want to do it. In fact, looking at it now, what I'm going to do is, because you've got a positive y and a negative, if the symbols are different, you just need to add the two expressions. So if I add those two, equation 1 and equation 2, I'm going to call this equation 1, call that equation 2. So equation 1, add equation 2, I'll end up with 2x. Now y plus minus y, they will disappear. That's the whole reason why we added them. And 7 plus 3 is 10. So you'll end up with 2x equals 10. And now the whole reason for doing this is to get rid of the y variable. So we'll just end up with one variable here, which is x, and we can solve that straight away. 2x equals 10, so x must equal 5. Once we know what x equals 5, we can then sub this into any one of those equations. So I'm going to say sub in, so I'm going to use equation 1 here. So I'm going to replace x with 5, so that's going to be 5 plus y is going to equal 7, in which case y would equal 2. Okay, so those are my two solutions, x and y. Now, what you should know anyway from GCSE, that these two are two straight lines, and where they intersect, this point is the coordinate, which we call, in this case, will be 5, 2, is the coordinate of where those two lines intersect, okay, graphically. Okay, next one, again, the y's are the same, and this time the signs are the same. So if the signs are the same, we subtract. Okay, again, I'm going to call this equation 1, call this equation 2, and I'm going to say equation 1 minus equation 2. So that's going to be 2x take away x is just going to give me x. Y minus y equals 17 minus 9 is 8. So straight away, you got your answer for x is equal to 8. There's nothing more to do on that. And then we can just simply sub. In this case, it'd be easy to sub this value in equation 2. And that's equation 2. So you're going to get x is replaced with 8. That's the whole meaning of substitution. So x is replaced with 8 plus y is going to equal 9. So therefore, y must equal 1. Okay, so you got your two values, x equals 8, y equals 9. That coordinate where those two lines will intersect is 8, 1 equal. Okay, let's scroll down to the next question. Now in this case, again, label that equation 1, call that equation 2. Now in this case, none of those are the same. Now what we could do here, in this case, which I'm going to do, you could either multiply this equation by 3 to make the x the same, or you could multiply this equation by 2 to make the y the same, which I'm going to do. Okay, but it's 6 and 2 3s, doesn't really matter. So equation 1 remains the same. So that stays as x plus 2y equals 7. But equation 2, I'm going to multiply that by 2 to give me equation 3. And that's going to give me, times that by 2 is going to give me 6x. Times this by 2 is going to give me minus 2y, and times 14 by 2 is going to give me 28. Then I'm going to add those two equations together. Okay, so I'm going to get equation 1 and add equation 3 to it. That's going to give me x plus 6x is 7x. 2y plus minus 2y is going to be 0. And then I'm going to get 7 plus 28 is going to give me 35. So 7x equals 35, in which case if I divide both sides by 7, x will give me 5. So I'll take the 7 to the other side by dividing by 7, and x will give me 5. Now the easiest equation to sub this into will be equation 1, so I'm going to sub in 1, which will give me, replace x by 5, so that'll give me 5 plus 2y equals 7. 5 to the other side by minusing 5, so it gives me 2y equals 7 take away 5 is 2, so 2y equals 2, so y must equal 1. So you've got x equals 5 and y equals 1. Again, if I want to write it as a coordinate, that will be 5, comma 1 is where the two lines intersect. Okay, let's go have a go at question 4. You can pause it, have a go, or you can carry on playing. Now you can do one or two things here. Again, you can either label this one equation 1, label this equation 2. So you can times this by 2 to make the x's the same, or you can times this by 3, make the y's the same, which I'm going to do. So I'm going to get equation 1, I'm going to multiply that by 3, which will give me equation 3, which I'm going to call. So 3 times 2 is 6x, 3 times y is 3y, 3 times 7 is 21. And then you got the equation 2, which is going to give me x minus 3y equals 0. And if I add those two equations, these are the same and the signs are different, so I'll get equation 3, add equation 2, I'll get 6x plus x is 7x. Now 3y plus minus 3y, they will disappear. 21 plus 0 is 21. So divide both by 7. So take the 7 to the side by dividing by 7. That tells me x is equal to 3. Okay, so x is equal to 3. Looking at here, I'm going to sub this in equation 1. So replace x by 3, so 2 times 3 is 6, plus y is going to give me 7, in which case y must equal 1. And that's it, that's how simple it is. Process of elimination, so 3, 1 is my coordinate of where those two lines will intersect. Okay, if you want to pause it, have a go. Otherwise, carry on watching. Again, call that equation 1. Call that equation 2. Okay, this time I'm going to multiply equation 1 by 3. So 3 times equation 1, which is I'm then going to call equation 3. Okay, so 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2y is 3 times 2 is 6y, and 3 times 5 is 15. And if I did the same thing, actually if I just leave equation 2 as it is, which will just give me 3x plus y equals 5, and now I've made the x's the same. Okay, so I'm going to subtract those. I'm going to get equation 3 and subtract the equation 2. Okay, once I do that, 3x take away 3x, that goes. 6y take away y is 5y. 15 take away 5 is 10, which means y must equal, divide that by 5, take it to the side by dividing 5, y equals 2. Okay, so y equals 2, and this time I'm going to sub in equation 1. So if y equals 2, this is going to give me x plus 2 lots of 2's is 4 equals 5. So therefore x must equal 1. Okay, simple as that. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. Now they're getting a bit more tricky because one is not a straight multiple of the other. So again, call that equation 1, call this equation 2, and this time I'm going to eliminate one of those two. So I'm going to eliminate the y's because I don't like too many negatives in there, so I just need to add the y's together to make them disappear once they're the same and end up with the x's. So I'm going to times this top equation by 3 and the second equation by 2, so the y's end up with 6. Okay, so let's do the first one. So I'm going to get 3 times equation 1, which I'm going to then call that equation 3. So equation 3 is going to end up, so multiplying this by 3 is going to give me 12x plus 6y. 3 times 8, 8, 16, 24 equals 24. Now equation 2, I'm going to multiply that by 2. Call that equation 4. So times in everything by 2, doubling everything, so that gives me 6x minus 6y, and double 3 is 6, so that's going to give me minus 6. Now if I add these two equations together, so I get equation 3, add equation 4, so when I add those two equations, I'll get 12x plus 6x is 18x. If I add those together, they will disappear. And 12 add minus 6, just 12 minus 6 is 18. So 18x equals 18, therefore x must equal 1. Okay, now I just need to sub the simultaneous equation, so I'm going to just sub it into equation 1. So sub in 1. So 4 times 1, or 4x, so x is replaced by 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 2y is going to equal 8. Get the 4 to the other side by minusing 4. So that gives me 2y is going to give me 8 take away 4 is 4. So half both sides, so divided by 2. So y will equal 2. So where those two lines will intersect, it's going to be 1, 2. That's the coordinate of the intersection. Okay, so that's simultaneous equations done for you. And we will move on to section 6, our next session.